Hey, 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 welcome to the Cheston Podcast. How's everyone doing out there? I'm doing great. The holidays is coming up, Thanksgiving. I cannot wait. I have some very special episodes coming up with special guests when I do my traveling and stuff. Um, it's really freaking freezing out here. I can't believe how cold it's going to be this freaking winter. But I'd rather take the cold than the heat. I hate summer out here in Dallas. It's just sticky, icky. Ugh. Like, especially last summer was horrible. It was just so freaking hot. But it's really cold out here. It's definitely going to. I have a feeling it's going to snow. I'm like fingers crossed that maybe we could stay clear of that. But from the previous 2 years, we have had snow out here, so I won't be shocked if it does fall down. But I'm just freaking excited to just probably get, for the holidays, get out of town, go see my family, go back to Vegas, go back to Phoenix, the West Coast. I'm a West Coast boy. So, I'm just really excited about that. But we're going to go ahead and just get into these hot topics because I know you guys don't have a lot of time. You probably like, okay, can you get to what's been going on, the previous week? Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it, okay? So November 7th through November 13th is the week we're going over. So, Variety reports Netflix's Monster has been renewed for season 2 and 3 as an anthology series. Okay, the two new installments will each focus on quote unquote other monstrous figures who have impacted society. Season 1 of Monster was a massive success for Netflix. Per Netflix, it is the second most popular English TV season ever on that platform. So as you can see, they struck gold with this Dahmer series, regardless of the backlash that they received. I honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, I get it broke records, and a lot of people did see it, but from my personal standpoint, and talking to people about it, and having discussions about it, or people asking me, "Have I seen it?" Like majority of the people were like, "I don't, I didn't like it. I couldn't finish the first episode. It was just too much." I did watch it. I watched it all the way through. One thing about me, since this is my podcast, I might as well tell you guys, a little. You got to get to know me. You got to get to know the host. So I got to start doing that more often. I haven't done that in the previous episodes, and I'm realizing like you probably like, who is this guy talking to me? All he talks about is hot topics. I don't even know what he's about. Who is he? So okay, so like I was saying before, one thing about me is that I love documentaries. I love biographies. I love things. I love watching stuff where you're looking at history. Basically, it's like documented, like it's a true story. I love true stories. I always feel like you can go back to the past and kind of. There's always going to be a connection. I'm a big believer for this is me. This I'm not, this is my thought process. This is how I am as a person. I'm a big believer in things that what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is like history repeats itself. There you go. History repeats itself. So I feel like when I'm watching old things or true stories, biographies, documentaries, whatever, I feel like I'm not saying like I could connect whatever I'm watching to my situation or anything like that. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like I can see, especially if it is a connection to my situation, or if I do see myself going through something similar to what I'm watching, or just picturing myself going through it. I can kind of see how, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I honestly don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to say is like I feel like there's a connection. Whenever I'm watching something old, especially with history, I feel like there's a connection. Like I said before, history repeats itself. I'm definitely a firm believer of that. So I just feel like if I'm watching something that's old, it's gonna be like some senseless knowledge in the back of my head that one day, if I ever do go through a similar situation, I can be like, oh my god, I watched that biography or that documentary, and this is what that person did. I don't know why I think like that. Scratch that. But anyways, I just think it's crazy that they're gonna go ahead and continue on with this anthology series. But I get it. People want to see these stories. I honestly believe that they're gonna do the John Gacy, John William Gacy. I think that's his name. Oh my god, I gotta look this up because I'm just talking here. I have to say Um, okay, John Wayne Gacy. Okay, I had his first and last name right, but the middle name. Okay, so John Wayne Gacy. I think that's going to be the next anthology series. If you do not know who that is, there is a real life documentary on Netflix. The actual, there's like a documentary where you see the real killer, you see what he really did. But I do believe that's going to be one of the anthologies because that story is shocking. I don't want to get into it because I will be here all day explaining that story to you. But the basis of it is that this dude, he was like he was basically I don't want to say well known, but he in his community where he lived in the Midwest. So I'm gonna say where? Hold on. Okay, so Chicago, Illinois. No, yeah, well, Illinois. And he basically in Illinois is where he is from, and he basically got in on good with the Republican Party. So he was kind of known in the community. People knew that he was somebody you could go to that wanted to help people get back on their feet. It's one of the things he was doing. And he also liked to dress up like a clown. It's very creepy, but he ended up killing like over 33 to 35 like men. He just ended up killing them. And it's long. Like if you that's who I believe the next anthology series season is going to be about. One of them. And there's so many other serial killers in history. So I'm sure I can name some, but I don't know for sure if they're going to get the season 2, season 3. But I have a feeling one of them is going to be John Wayne Gacy, definitely. But Netflix, all these streamers, these platforms, these streamers, HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, like they're all trying to find something that will become a mega hit, and then from there they're going to branch off of it. You seen what they did with Game of Thrones? Big massive hit, over like 20 million people watched this season. Like it was a big hit, and they don't want to let that go. Okay, so what they're doing now, they're branching off stories from it. Like now we have House of Dragon, and then there's about to be another series that's about to come out. I heard that they're going to do a prequel to Game of Thrones. That's what I'm hearing with Jon Snow. So it's like once they get this gold nugget, they want to multiply that gold nugget. They want to make more of it. And as far as the Game of Thrones and House of Dragons, that is doing very well. As you know, House of Dragon has been renewed for a second season. So I think Game of Thrones is just such a fantastic story that you can really tell that story in so many different ways, in so many different tales, because it's kind of never ending. It's a long bloodline of people. Okay, and why am I getting into House of Dragon and Game of Thrones? Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, Monster has become an anthology series for Netflix. They're going to be doing season after season of these serial killers that we know in history. So just giving you guys a heads up. If you were tired of the Jeffrey Dahmer, the Dahmer series, and you wanted it off, well, guess what? Here comes a season 2 and a season 3, and I'm sure those seasons are going to do well, and they're going to get renewed, and they're going to continue going down the seasons. So, oh my God, it's like I get how family is hurt that that it's being shown again, and it's like how many versions of the story do you have to make? I get that. I completely understand that. You do not want to see a loved one getting killed over and over again in different shows and different TV, in different movies. But to play devil's advocate, it is history. It's not like it's making up a story. It's like it's real facts. It's real things that happen. And like anything in American history that's in a book, it's going to be there. It's like you can actually read up on it. You can, especially with the internet, you can look up on it. You can search it. I don't think the Jeffrey. Why did I put the D in front of the instead of the J? But anyways, okay. I don't think the Jeffrey Dahmer story is going to ever die. I think people are going to always have some weird, I don't want to say fascination, but some kind of they're going to come across the story and be like, oh my God, what are you serious? And then want to hear like what actually happened. And I think, it's never gonna stop. Just like like I said, they're gonna continue with season 2 and season 3 of this anthology series. So we're gonna be seeing many more real stories and real and true events of people getting murdered by these serial killers. But anyways, continuing on, Millie Bobby Brown reveals to Drew Barrymore that playing Britney Spears is on her bucket list. Okay, so here's what she said to her, quote unquote: "I want to play a real person." And she's talking about Britney Spears. And she says, "Her story resonates with me. Just growing up in the public eye, watching her videos, watching her interviews when she was younger. I don't know. But her, wait, no, I'm sorry. Okay, so she said, I don't know her. But when I look at the pictures of her, I feel like that I could tell her story in the right way and hers only." Okay. I think that's flattering that Millie Bobby Brown wants to play her. That's the girl that plays 11 in the mega popular Stranger Things, Elle for short. She's the bald little girl. She's not bald anymore. Well, I don't know. The last season she was bald. Okay. But I think it's flattering that she wants to play Britney Spears, but I honestly think that Britney Spears does not want any type of story done on her anymore or biography. She's not really too fond of the documentaries. I'm gonna get into that later. But before I get into that, Britney Spears, she sort of kind of responded to hearing about Millie Bobby Brown wanting to play her. So on her Instagram post, she wrote, this is quote unquote, she says, "I hear about people wanting to do movies about my life. Dude, I'm not dead." So there you go. Britney Spears is basically not having it. I think she's tired of people telling her story. I think she really wants to tell her story herself, which is such a sad way. As a fellow Sagittarius, I can tell you we don't like people speaking for us or saying like we. I just know for a fact she wants to tell the story herself. But continuing on Britney, she also called out previous documentaries, like I said earlier, that came out last year that were about her, basically. So she says the best part of the documentary that she watched, she's referring to the one that was on Hulu, the New York Times, framing Britney, and I don't know, not the Spears versus Spears. I think that's Netflix. But the Framing Britney, that's the one she's referring to. And in the documentary, she said the best part of that documentary is when her old assistant, which is Felicia. How I know this is because I'm the biggest Britney Spears fan. I've been following her since 1999 when she first debuted. So I know everything about Britney Jean Spears. Okay, so continuing on. So she said that her assistant talked about how she went through the neighborhood passing out $100 bills when she first came out. I remember that part. I remember she was saying how sweet it was of Britney, just basically telling a sweet story about Britney. But Britney, on her Instagram, she says that that was a lie. And why would she make up something like that? Okay, so then she continues on to say that people are doing the trashiest documentary she's ever seen, and then saying it's to help her. She doesn't think they help her. That's her honest opinion. And she said that those documentaries, they were trash and nothing more than trash. So she's not having it. Like, she feels like these documentaries are not helping her. I think for her having to relive, because Britney got it bad, and nobody wants to admit that. That's the sad part. Britney used to get, before the Me Too movement, Britney used to get it bad. She used to get it bad in the early 2000s. She was the joke, everybody's joke. Everybody had a slut-shaming joke about her. It was just bad. Like, she used to get it so bad. And I think replaying those clips where she had to live through that stuff and those horrible interviews. Oh my gosh, she did so many bad interviews where the interviewer was like trying to make her feel guilty for just being a performer. Basically, it was crazy. The craziest one for me was Diane Sawyer. That's her name, Diane Sawyer. I think that's her. The one that she also did the Britney. I mean, not the Whitney Houston "Whack is Crack." I mean, "Crack is Whack" interview. Yeah, that's her, Diane Sawyer. Diane Sawyer. She did an interview with Britney Spears, and she was like slamming, like she was just like digging into Britney, like just, I think honestly what it was coming off was she wanted to make her cry. She was trying to get her cry for, TV. That's what it came off as. And of course, Britney did break down. She told him, cut the camera, stop. She did break. I do remember that interview, but Britney was like, she was going toe to toe with her. I do remember that interview. She was like going back and forth. Like, Diana Sawyer was talking about the way she dresses and, how revealing it is. And then, Britney Spears interrupts her and she's like, well, Jennifer Lopez just posed for a magazine very provocatively. Kate Hudson just, posed nude on a magazine. Christina Aguilera is also posing nude. But for some reason, when I'm doing it, you guys are only pointing out which was true at the time. Like, she used to get it bad. And I don't know why. Looking back, I'm like, I don't know why. Because there were so many other people doing so many other crazy things. I think what it was that people, when she debuted, she was so young and innocent. And I think people just seeing her progress from that. Because it seemed like every year Britney Spears was like doing something different or going in a more adult, more mature, but still sexy route, if you get what I'm saying. Like, but I feel like not Britney Spears, I feel like Christina Aguilera's was more shocking. She went from Genie in a Bottle to Stripped, from album 1 to 2. I feel like with Britney Spears, you got a little bit of a progression because she was putting out an album like, every year at that time. But Christina Aguilera, she like released her album in 2000. Her second album didn't come out until like, 2002. That's fair because I was used to Britney Spears. Britney Spears came out with an album in 1999, 2002. They were working her. Oh yes, baby, she was working like a horse. Yes, at that time, that's when she was on. That record company was making her push out them albums because, what people don't realize, Britney Spears' second album, Oops, I Did It Again, it sold 1.3 million physical copies. This is before streaming. This is when you actually had to go to the the record store and buy the actual CD. She sold 1.3 million copies in the first week. She broke the Nielsen record. The Nielsen record, the album sales record. She broke it, and at that time she was only like 17, 18, which is crazy to me looking back. Because I was I was like, when Britney Spears came out, I was like 10, 11 probably, 10, 11 or 12, So looking back at it and realizing how young she was to have that much power and stardom it's kind of like crazy. But anyways, like it makes me realize that American pop culture, American culture, paparazzi media, they've always been obsessed with Britney Spears. Even to this day, there's an obsession with her. So it's just, anyways, I just feel like her watching those clips, it makes her feel like it takes her back to those moments where she felt like, people were beating up on her for honestly just being herself. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just showing her stomach off, and people, or she, Britney Spears has done like some risque photo shoots, but nothing too like, compared to today, it's nothing compared to today. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, continuing on with what she was saying, like she was saying before, she feels like, the documentaries are trash and nothing more but trash. Nothing more than trash. She says every person who sat there, in the documentaries for the interviews, knew what was going on behind the scenes. Okay? Or if they did not know, they could have found out where they were keeping her. Now, I have no idea. Like, when she says this, they were keeping her, it makes it sound like she was being held captive. She did say that in her statement, that she was held against her will, during this conservatorship. Like, if she wanted to go outside, there would be a security guard, a big dude that would not let her, leave the room. Like, basically, restrain her from leaving. So, it's really sad. It's really sad. But anyways, I'm going to continue on with what she was saying. She said these people need to realize that then she needed real people to go to the cops. She says her quote-unquote friends wait to speak in trash documentaries. Where was the passion to help her when she called them when she was in that place, when she was being held captive? So it's deeper. I feel like it's way bigger. Like, and it still hasn't been uncovered. Like, we're just like grabbing threads of it. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more to uncover about what was going on with Britney Spears' situation for over 13 years. A lot of people behind the scenes in the music industry, from what I hear, allegedly knew what was going on to her, but it was not their situation, so they weren't stepping in to help her. I mean, that's what that's what is what's been said behind the scenes from what I've heard. Okay, so she says that she misses the love of people. She misses feeling accepted and not being bullied or scared of the people she would literally die for. So right now, if you guys do not know, Britney Spears is kind of at odds with everybody that's blood to her. She's at odds with her kids, and that's because of her ex-husband / baby daddy, Kevin Federline. He's he's realizing what people, well, let me put allegedly in front of it because, but okay, so he's realizing that his kids are about to be 18. Mind you, he has not had no job since he's met Britney Spears. He's been on, he's been getting, payments, child support payments from her for their kids, for their two boys. So he's been living off of that, which is like thousands and thousands of dollars, So they're about to both be 18, pretty soon. So that's why they're doing these interviews, smearing her. It's just, she's right now not in a good place with, blood relatives. Only people she can kind of depend on right now is her awesome attorney, Matthew Rosengart. He's phenomenal. I love him. And her husband, Sam. Those are really the only two people she can trust and know will respect her and not mistreat her. Like she feels her family, her mom, dad, brother, sister did, which is, I mean, it's documented. And then on top of that, her two boys, she feels, which, I mean, if you guys seen the videos, Britney Spears wasn't doing anything wrong to them boys. And they felt, and it's not even their fault. I'm not even going to blame them. It's Kevin Federline felt like it was good enough footage to, release out there and kind of, stay, make it seem like Britney Spears needs to be in a conservative. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem like she needs to be back in her conservatorship. But that woman is not doing nothing to nobody. She's in her living room dancing around, okay? And all these blogs that want to, take what she's doing on. First of all, you're going to her social media. She doesn't work for the Shade Room. She doesn't work for any of these other bloggers. You know what I'm saying? She's not sending you guys this stuff for you guys to post. You guys are going on her page, taking something that she's posting for her people that are following her, that support her, and you're putting it on a bigger, like even more bigger platform with even more followers, so you can get negative comments, so you can get hate off of what she's doing. It's disgusting. If you don't like Britney Spears, if you don't like the way she dances, if you don't like the way she looks, stay off of her page. It's simple as that. Same thing with Madonna. Leave her alone. Stay off of their page. Like, social media, they're posting what they want to post for their followers, for the people that support them. I don't get it. What's hard to understand? Like, oh my God. So anyways, continuing on, she said that she has lost the, faith in God, and she gets nervous around people, and she's given up on people. In a nutshell, so Britney Spears is like done with people. She's done with being mistreated, and I hope Britney Spears, I hope she gets, back to feeling like herself again, which is going to be probably many, many years it's going to take for her to feel like how she felt before pre-conservatorship. I'm just happy she's free, and I'm happy she's expressing herself and she's letting this all out, But moving on, J-Lo is on the cover of the Vogue December 2022 issue. Inside the issue, in the interview, she dishes on her true love story and how her legal name and how her legal name will be Mrs. Affleck, and she's proud of that. Okay, You know, anybody that knows the J Lo and Ben Affleck story, they dated back in 2002, got back together in 2022, got married, had a big old reception and all that. You know, did the big shebang, and now she wants to change her name to Mrs. Affleck. That's awesome. Not knocking that, but this is the real thing. I wanted to bring that up because I don't know if anybody. I brought this up in one of my previous episodes where I said I was so happy that 21 Savage and Drake got the Vogue issue cover. You know, I was like freaking out about it. Come to find out, it was a fake. Drake, it was part of their promotion for their newest album that just came out, Her Loss, which is like, do you know how awesome that would have been if it was real? I'm just thinking of like for the culture. I'm just thinking how awesome that would have been to put two, you know, African American rappers, male rappers on the cover of a, I don't know. I'm just thinking of how like big that would be. That would have been awesome if it was a real cover, but it sucks that it's not. But continuing on, Vogue owner Condé Nast, that's the name of the Vogue owner, says Vogue and Anna Wintour have not endorsed Her Loss. That's Drake and 21 Savage's new album in any way. Okay, so they're suing Drake and 21 Savage. They're suing them basically for the false cover, which this is crazy to me. But continuing on, they want the false Vogue cover shut down. They want it removed. I don't know how you're going to do that because I know it's like all over the internet, but okay. And at least $4 million in damages. Okay. So, Condé Nast, they are stating that they have asked multiple times for all promos using the Vogue name to be taken down, but nothing's been done. The lawsuit states that the rappers falsely promoted the Vogue cover on social media and put up posters of the cover in major cities. So, like, this was part of their promote. They used it as, like, I mean, as you can, that's a big deal. Like, being on the cover of Vogue is a big deal for anyone, period. Like, everybody, I mean, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say everybody, because not everybody is, like, into Vogue. Not everybody holds Vogue that high, you know, in a value in their life. You know, there's some people that don't give a damn about Vogue. But I'm just saying, for the culture, that cover was a big deal to me. Like, it made me very hyped and happy. I even texted my mom and I was like, Mom, do you see this? Do you see how freaking cool this is? But I'm just saying, like, I see why Vogue would be like, okay, so you used us, you basically for clout, you used us to make you look a little bit better, you know, by saying that we gave you a cover when that's not true. So I just don't get, I mean, maybe they feel like the Drake and 21 Savage brand does not go with the Vogue brand. I don't know. I'm not in the owner's head. I have no idea, but this is what the lawsuit is stating. Like I said, they're also claiming that Drake and 21 Savage's teams, they sent out an email blast about celebrating Drake's Vogue cover. And they claim replicas were handed out by their street team. Now, the crazy thing is, I saw this online, and they actually handed out like full-on Vogue magazine. Like, it looks glossy, it looks real. It looks like a real, like, Drake and 21 Savage spent like a pretty penny to get like a few copies made of like a high-end glossy cover of Vogue and like the pages and stuff. Like, it looked legit. Like, I'm dead serious when I saw this online. I'm like, are you serious? So you had to spend some money to do that. Obviously, the owner of Vogue feels like they're not on brand with Vogue, and they're not filling this cover. They want it, you know. I have an idea of why, but I'm going to keep that to myself because it's not accurate. We don't know exactly why, but I will be following this story. I want to continue and see, you know, where it's going to go, or if they're going to settle, if it's going to be thrown out. I just want to see, you know, because from what I'm hearing, Drake and 21 Savage, they thought it was a joke, the lawsuit. They thought it's funny. They're kind of confused as to why they're even getting a lawsuit for just, you know, a false cover. But I mean, I at the same time, playing devil's advocate once again, I can see how you know, Vogue feels they use them to make themselves look bigger, to make as part of their promotion. It probably made some people buy their CD like, oh my God, they got the Vogue cover. Let's celebrate by buying their album. I don't know. But they obviously feel like they are owed $4 million. Okay, moving on to the next story. Jennifer Aniston, she covers Allure magazine's December 2022 issue wearing a 1996 spring Chanel micro bikini top, looking fabulous at 53, might I add. I have to put aside it. Jennifer Aniston's my girl. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. The little, yes, Nicki Minaj did like an iconic line about I'm Angelina, you're Jennifer. I don't care about that line. Jennifer Aniston is still, she's still that girl. She's still an icon, whatever. But anyways, in the article, they're basically celebrating her being a beloved figure in American pop culture for over 30 years, which is true. This is like so accurate because she was known in the 90s. If you watched Friends or if you watched any movie she's been in, Jennifer Aniston had this thing, she was known as the girl next door. Like we all saw her as the girl next door, beautiful woman. So the interviewer, the journalist that interviewed her for the magazine, he decided to read her a thought, quote unquote thought, a fellow journalist had on Jennifer Aniston, which is, I had to read this to you guys because when I read this, I was like, oh my God. So the journalist that was interviewing her for Allure magazine decided to read her what the other journalist, their thought about Jennifer Aniston. So here it is, quote unquote. It says, "No one's ever going to be famous the way she is. That kind of mass fame phenomenon burning so bright for so long, it's just not achievable today. She's like a silent film star among a generation of TikTok dipshits." That's deep. Now, like I said earlier, side note, you remember how I said time repeats itself? That's what I feel like we're going through right now. Now, as far as, because that line right there, she's like a silent film star among a generation of TikTok dipshits. Now, if you guys, for people that don't know out there, Hollywood is like, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to, before I go on my rant, I have to fact check myself a little bit. So, Hollywood is, hold on. Here we go. Hollywood is like basically coming up on the 100 year of it even existing. Hold on. Yeah, because the first sync sound musical film is The Jazz Singer in 1927. So yeah, it's like we're basically coming up on almost 100 years of Hollywood, the movies basically here in America. So around the 1920s, time, there was a transition from when they were doing silent films to talking films, and that's why that reference of she's a silent film star amongst a generation of TikTok dipshits. That's kind of what was happening at that time in the 1920s, like the late 1900s, from 1917 to mid 1920s, they were doing a transition from silent film to talkie films. Not a lot of people that were in the silent films made it, in the transition because their voices sounded weird on screen, or the studio didn't like the way they sounded. A whole number of reasons. But anyways, I feel like time is repeating itself. History is repeating itself. As it said in this quote, amongst a generation of because that's what's going on right now. Social media, TikTok is taking over. All our famous people now, for these Gen Z kids, are influencers. They're not even legit. They're people that got a lot of followers on a social media platform, and then from there, got agents and all this, accommodations to, set foot in Hollywood or start doing things in Hollywood. That's really what it is now. So after they read that, the interviewer read that quote to Aniston, she basically, um, she responded, she said she feels like Hollywood is dying. She said there are no more movie stars. There's no more glamour. Even the Oscar parties used to be so fun. And then she continues on saying she hates social media. She's no good at it. And she says in the article, she says that the ship has sailed on having children and that she has zero regrets. Um, it was a good article. You guys have to really read it. It was deep. She went there. She revealed a lot that we did not know, like for the first time. Um, Her journey with IVS and trying to get pregnant, IVF and trying to get pregnant. Um, it was a really good conversation, but shout out to Jennifer Aniston for looking amazing, doing your thing, girl, and continuing on with your career because she as I'm currently she's filming season 3 of the morning show, that Apple TV show that she has, and then she's doing something else. Like she's busy. She she's still booked and busy. It's like you don't have to worry about Jennifer Aniston, okay? I just wanted to shout her out because the pictures were beautiful and the article was great. Make sure if you want to read it, check it out. But just wanted to give you guys a little excerpt from that magazine and how good the article was. But anyways, moving on. The Hollywood Reporter reports Snoop Dogg's biopic is in the works at Universal with director Alan Hughes and Wakanda Forever writer Joe Robert Cole. Okay, so this will be the first film for Snoop Dogg's Death Row Pictures production company that he has, and Alan Hughes is one of the Hughes brothers, famously the directors, the Hughes brothers, that they are responsible for classics like Menace to Society and Dead Presidents. That's who's going to be directing the film. Alan Hughes, one of the Hughes brothers. So it's going to be good. It sounds like a good, team that they've put together for Snoop's biopic. And then it says here, Snoop will be heavily involved with the project. The film will incorporate his music from his past catalog. So, because he has his masters, I believe. Snoop has his masters, so he's able to do that. He's a boss, so you're going to be hearing his music, which would make it would only make sense to play Snoop Dogg's music in his own biopic. But to remind people out there, Universal, they're also responsible for the previously released Straight Outta Compton, which came out in 2015. That movie was good. Straight Outta Compton was good, and I believe that the Snoop Dogg, if it's told the right way, which I think it will be good. But Straight Outta Compton left out a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a lot of things that was not addressed, especially pertaining to Dr. Dre. But it's his movie, so I'm sure he wanted to cut out some things. But I hope Snoop Dogg is transparent, which he's probably not gonna be transparent enough to go there. But I'm willing to check it out, because Snoop Dogg is an icon. He's a legend. He's definitely you have to respect him because he's still doing his thing to this day, and he came out in like the early 90s. So it takes a lot to have longevity in this music business because one day you're hot and one day you're not. We see it happen with so many people. So to be one of the people that is still doing their thing and branching off in different areas and starting their own businesses, he has a cookbook out, he's doing his thing. So it's going to be exciting to see him do a movie about his life and just see the history and see where he was when they're, because you got to remember he was a part of Death Row Records, so he was there amongst all that, East Coast, West Coast drama with Puffy and Biggie and Pac and Suge, so it's going to be interesting to see him tell himself, where he was or what side he was in, what role did he play when he had to go through that turmoil that that they all went through with that East Coast, West Coast drama. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that movie. And the Hughes, Alan Hughes, part of the Hughes brothers, they're awesome. Their movies are awesome. So I'm excited. Moving on, Nicki Minaj, she covers the ID magazine, and she talks to JT from the City Girls on a three-way. Well, she talks to her on a three-way call for the interview in the magazine. So in the article, Nicki says that she knew Super Freaky Girl would make people happy. Everything that feels nostalgic is making people feel better right now because of the previous couple of years. She's speaking about, she's pertaining to COVID when we were locked down on 2 years. And as far as the Super Freaky Girl Queen mix, she says that she wanted to hear girls rap again, like just rap. Nicki points out how she was criticized for rapping over pop beats, but now all female rappers are doing the same thing, but no one is getting criticized for it, which is very true. She continues on. She says that she names Foxy Brown, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, and Rick Ross as her biggest inspirations for her rap style. She names Lauryn Hill as her idol. And she says that her words got her through high school, which was an emotional roller coaster for her. Nicki says that she is outspoken now because people have lied about her, and she didn't respond. And she continues on saying the hip hop community praised so many other people for speaking up for themselves, but for some reason, they seem to have an issue when she does it correct. Very correct. She also says once she realized that, that double standard, she decided not to give a shit anymore. And if she never raps again, she will still leave this earth as an icon, which is completely true. She's paid her dues. That's what she said. She says that her fifth album will be out soon. She's not going to say when, because ops are watching. Everybody wants to watch what Nicki is doing. And you definitely, reading the interview, you definitely can tell that Nicki and JT have a bond. Because Nicki's been helping her on her freestyles. Like, you could tell she's helping her with her craft. She's really taking JT under her wing. And I think it's a Sagittarius thing because they're both Sagittariuses, so they're bonding. I think that's what the bond is over. And then on top of that, probably their love for rap. She's just trying to, which is an awesome coach to have. So big ups to you, JT. You have an awesome freaking coach to help you perfect your craft if you're taking it that seriously. So great interview, great pictures. Just wanted to give you guys some excerpts from that magazine cover. Moving on, this week marks 25 years of Destiny's Child's Destiny's Child releasing their debut single, No No No. That's 25 years of Beyonce in the industry. I just had to throw that out there because I cannot believe it's been 25 years. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, okay, I can't believe it's been 25 years because No No No, the part that version with Wyclef Jean that came out. Yeah, it's been a minute since I even heard that song. But anyways, moving on to the next topic. Page 6 reports Selling Tampa is canceled, and the cast blames racism for decision. Okay, Netflix has chosen not to renew Selling Tampa. That's the series where they're selling properties in Tampa, Florida, and it was majority of women of color that were on the cast. It was women of color. The entire cast was women of color, honestly. But Netflix is saying that they have not chosen to renew the series for a second season. Members of the cast say that when the show, when TV shows show black women bickering, fighting, and name calling, they get a season 2 and 3. But that was not displayed on the show, which it was not. It was great. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good show to me. The show premiered in December 2021. The cast was entirely women of color, like I said before. The ladies say they were left wondering for nearly a year whether they would be picked up for a second season, and that they were given the runaround. Okay, with Netflix's history, I mean, as far as the biggest for this screams like when Monique went through what she went through with them, and fast forward to now, they've settled her and Netflix, and she's about to have a special come out on them. So she was right. in the end. She was not lying about them discriminating. We'll just put it that way. Now, continuing on. Oh, no, sorry. Continuing on, the creator, Adam DeVello, he broke the news to them last week on a Zoom call. The cast was not given much of an explanation. The decision was made related to numbers, but they were never given additional information, like where their numbers not met. It just said all they were told was that the decision was made related to numbers. Okay. So Selling Tampa was the #1 show in the US on Netflix within 24 hours after its release. I do remember that. And then Selling Sunset, these are the sister shows of Selling Tampa. Selling Sunset and Selling the OC both have predominantly white casts. If you have seen those, I'm sure you've seen Selling Sunset. It's like one of Netflix's biggest shows, Selling Sunset. But I have not seen Selling the OC. But both of the cast of those shows are predominantly white, like I was saying. There are claims that DeVello, he never visited the Selling Tampa cast on set, as he has done with both of the other shows. Sources say producers considered a spin-off in Miami. A pilot featuring Latin and black men and women was filmed but not picked up. Netflix allegedly, they're allegedly saying that they quote unquote want model-like people who are quote unquote wealthy, quote unquote young, and quote unquote fit. So they're alleging that Netflix wants model-like people who are wealthy, young, and fit for the new show that they're working on currently, which I'm assuming is another real estate show, like Selling Tampa, Selling the OC, and Selling Sunset. I mean, it sucks that they canceled the second season. I thought it was good enough for a second season. I would have enjoyed to see a second season of Selling Tampa, but it's got the axe, and once Netflix makes their decision, it's like the show's gone. So it sucks. I feel so bad for the ladies because it was a good cast and it was a good show. It was entertaining. Even though they didn't fight and argue like that, it still was entertaining. It was entertaining to see how each one of them prepared a house or showed a house, or what it was good. It was good enough for a second season. I wish they would have gave him a chance. But moving on, the New York Post reports Henry Winkler, that's the Fonz if you guys don't know, but he says he's a damn fool for turning down the role as Danny Zuko in Grease. Okay. Winkler, he played Arthur Fonzarelli on Happy Days from 1974 to 1984. I did not know that show was on that long. It makes sense though, because that show is iconic. I remember a lot of people watched that show. I remember they used to play it on Nick at Night on Nickelodeon, and me and my brother used to watch it. That's how I know about Happy Days. We used to watch it, and it was actually a good show. I'm not even gonna lie. So, and the Fonz was like, it makes sense now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, the Fonz, the Grease, it makes perfect sense that they would have asked him for that, to be in that, the lead in that movie. But anyways, Winkler, the actor, he said while he was working on Happy Days, he was offered the lead role in Grease over John Travolta, but he turned it down out of fear of being typecast. I guess he felt like he didn't want to be, the Fonz and Danny Zuko and every future, movie, I guess. This is his words. Continuing on, he says that he's a damn fool for, not taking the lead role. He says that he went home and had a Diet Coke. John Travolta, who has done the movie, goes home and buys a plane. So meaning John Travolta made a lot, which everybody knows. John Travolta made a lot of movie off of Grease, being the lead role in Grease. But Grease at that time became the highest grossing musical film in history, and in 1979 was the second best-selling album in the U.S. During the film's run in theaters, it generated over $396 million worldwide. That movie is a hit. Everybody, I mean, I'm sure, I won't say Gen Z, but I'm sure every millennial has seen Grease. Come on now. I hope. But it's a good movie. Um, it's a classic movie, man. That's a badass movie. But I'm not shocked that. I am shocked. I did not know that they offered the role to Henry Winkler over John Travolta. Low key, kind of happy that John Travolta got the role. I mean, I think he was born to be Danny Zuko. Um, if we're gonna keep it real. But Winkler did his thing with the Fonz, so he has that under his belt. And then on top of that, he went on to play numerous movies, and he won 2 Golden Globes. So he had a great career too. Um, but I'm sure, like he said, he looks back at that and he feels like he was a damn fool for turning it down, which is understandable because that movie was a massive success. All right, that was all the topics for this week. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure to follow the Cheston Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. A new episode will be uploaded next Tuesday. Thank you. Peace.